Yo, this is another episode of the Steven from the Old Time Podcast. Listen to my dad, he's awesome.
Welcome to a new episode of Steven from the All Time Podcast, the Elimination Chamber review. I am your host, the Ayatollah of hip hop, the whole damn show, the Rated R podcaster, and one half of the tag team champions del mundo. With my co-host tonight.
That's right. It's the Canadian psychopath. It's not just good. It's not just bets. It's the greatest there is, the greatest there was, and the greatest there ever will be. Big Cheese in the house.
Yes, sir. I love that. Love that. And you have the other half of the tag team hip hop podcast champions of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, making a special guest appearance on the wrestling episode, you have Trap, aka the Black Eric Bischoff, because we impacting the culture, as I always say, aka one half of the Steiner brothers. Nobody does it better than us. And enjoy the ride for another great episode, guys.
Special episode, the Elimination Chamber episode. I'm happy to have both of you here. First of all, it's the first time you guys meet. Here. It's the first time you guys meet, so that's big. That's big. The Elimination Chamber was something unexpected for me, and the reason why is because when you think of Elimination Chamber,
here we go, being a Debbie Downer.
And when you think of the Elimination Chamber, you think of a big event, especially that it was in Australia.
It wasn't big. I thought it was huge.
52,000 people. That's pretty big.
Yeah, and it's in
Hold
Australia.
on, none of you are listening. We start off the episode with nobody listening.
If you mention Sami Zayn, I swear.
Now, you expect something big. It's in Australia. If you look at the past Elimination Chambers, the Elimination Chambers were out of this world. The matches were explosive. The amount of matches as well on the card were big, right? You're expecting a lot. So you're going into this and you're like, look, it's supposed to be something. And right now in the world of wrestling, let's be honest with each other. It's on another level. It's big. It's huge. As a wrestling fan, it's like, wow, what's going on? We haven't seen something like this in 10 years. Okay. I was watching old Elimination Chamber matches and I was blown away. I was like, wow, this really happened. This pay-per-view actually really happened. Okay.
Yes. No, I agree.
So you're going in expecting something so big. And again, as wrestling fans, we want something big to happen because the storylines right now that are happening with the Roman Reigns, The Rock, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. Who's going to face Seth Rollins? What's going to happen with Cody? You get just minimal card at its best. Like, you're really expecting like top tier matches here. You're expecting some nice storylines. And it was just, all right, here's one match. Here's a second match. Here's a third match. Here's a fourth match. And here's the person that's going to face Seth Rollins. So, yes, I'm a Debbie Downer, but I was expecting so much more. No?
On your end, is it because you feel like there wasn't? Because if you look at the last few Elimination Chambers, there's been championship matches in those Elimination Chamber matches. Now, this was one of the ones that didn't have any. Do you feel like had there been a championship match, like a big championship match, that would have made a difference? Like, let's say Gunther defending or Logan Paul, let's say, not being in it and defending, would you feel like that would have had a bigger feel for you?
Absolutely. You had a match that was the tag team championship match. Okay, I get that. It's fine. Go for it. But we all know Gunther can't cross. He can't cross the border. He can't fly. He can't do something now. There's something with Gunther that he cannot leave the country because he's waiting for his green card. And there's a process where if you're waiting for your green card, you can't leave. You can't leave the United States.
That explains it.
Okay.
All right.
But who is Gunther? Go for it.
No, what I was gonna say is, but still, I feel like they have enough superstars and stuff that they could have still carried on and put some matches in between. I felt like the whole Grayson Waller effect it wasn't needed. It was just a waste of space. That could have been a space where two matches could have been,
Mm-hmm.
or even showcase another talent or a championship match, like Derek said. That was a waste of time. They even could have put the Kabuki Warriors in the main event instead of them having them at the pre-show, because that was a good little tag team match with Andy Cartwell. Also, I feel like the women really put on a good show. Like the last few pay-per-views, as I've been saying, the women matches have been really good. Like really, really good. Like I like Tiffany Stratton a lot. Like she's gonna be a star, man. Like I see it. Like her character, her being a heel, the way she is, and she also is a good. It only works because she's a good worker too in the ring. Like she takes some bumps in the ring and really like that prettiest moonsault ever. The height she gets on that moonsault is amazing. It's like so I could see her being a star in the making. And I think what it is right now, WWE has too much talent, like more than it has been in the past. Where like it's so many people that you can see are potential superstars. It's not too many mid-level or lower tier guys. Like you could potentially see almost every one of them being a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a lot to it's a lot to deal with. I feel like.
But getting and you made a great point. The matches were just there was nothing exciting about them.
It
With this
wasn't.
this was like
I
let's
was
watch this on
excited.
SmackDown.
I mean, not really. I was excited about the Elimination Chambers matches. I really wasn't excited about the men's tag team champion. I don't know why. I just really wasn't a fan of that. Not, I didn't really care about it. That's why I said they could have put the Kabuki Warriors in there because I'm a fan of them. Like I really like their work in the ring. I really like the energy they bring. Kyrie Sane and Oscar are so great, man.
Derek, your thoughts on the card itself before we get into the matches.
I think for me personally, I think because they said the storylines, that one of the half of the big storyline, I felt like that was just a pay-per-view to set up more storylines, and we'll get into it as we get into the matches.
Mm-hmm.
But there hasn't been a really big build-up other than the whole Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, that kind of jazz. There hasn't been any build-up in the last few weeks since the last pay-per-view. So I think it did make sense that they had none of those like story card matches because there just wasn't any. There just was no story built other than everything revolving around Cody and The Rock. And like we said, we're going to get into it when we get to the matches, but this was just how do we build our WrestleMania card? And I think the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view this year was that. It was just like, oh, this is what we're going to do for WrestleMania. We're just going to give you little hints here and there, and then we're going to take off from there.
You just made a point. You just said something, and I'm like, he makes a good point. I see something. There was something that happened in one of the matches that you're like, this is a setup for WrestleMania, and we'll get to it. But again, it was at 5 a.m. our time. Okay, I was out cold.
I was up.
My son woke up. My son woke up at 4:59. I heard him get out of bed and he went downstairs. He turned on the television himself and he watched the match. I came downstairs. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing up? And he's just on the couch watching Elimination Chamber and building Legos. This is like 5:45 in the morning.
But your son is what we were when we were kids watching WWE, right?
But he got a shit pay-per-view and he told me himself he was bored.
Really?
If he's watching AEW with you, it's not the same caliber. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, so let's get into the matches. There was a total of 5 matches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. The first match was the Kabuki Warriors versus Candice LeRae and India Hartwell, the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. It was the pre-show. So this was the first match.
Yes.
Thoughts? And I know Trap. I'm gonna start off with you because I know you've been obsessed.
Don't say obsessed like that, please. I love
That's
Kyrie
fine.
Sane, man. I love Kyrie Sane, bro.
Explain.
Man. Thought the match was okay. It was a good squash match to showcase Indy Hartwell. I see what they were doing. I knew who was gonna win. Like, so I think it was to put really Indy Hartwell in them over to showcase her in her hometown in Australia. So the match was cool. I didn't really expect too much. It's pretty much what I expected it to be. So, and plus, it's the Kabuki Warriors. They're always going to put on a good show and showcase. So I thought the match was pretty okay for what it was. It basically got the job done. It showcased Indy Hartwell. Like, oh, okay, she's okay in the ring. She could get better in the ring. She needs to work on some more stuff and whatever. Right now, they just showcasing her because she's large, she's tall, and she's strong, but she needs to work on some things in the ring. But overall, I was satisfied with the match. Wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I
You?
think I support that assessment. I think it was fine. Indy Hartwell's from Australia. They wanted to really give her a good show, and I think
Yep.
I think her being paired with Candice LeRae, the whole size difference makes for an interesting sort of dynamic as a tag team, having one be a powerhouse, one be a little bit more nimble.
Yep.
Let's face it, the Kabuki Warriors weren't going to lose that. I wish I would have seen maybe a
Yeah.
little bit more, I'm going to call it fuckery, but I wish
Mhm.
maybe Bailey shows up and just distracts and sort of affects that match. I want to start seeing Bailey involved a little bit more in the downfall of damage control and that kind of
Damage
jazz. I wish I would have
control.
seen that a little bit more. But you guys know me.
Mhm.
If you guys have been listening to me, I'm a lot about like the little psychological things, the heels, and like having things
Yeah.
happen. If that would have happened in the pre-show, I think it would have been a good way to be like set things up. But it was what it was. We weren't expecting diamonds out of that one, but it did the job
Right.
for a pre-show. It did fine.
You brought up a
Yeah.
point, Derek, about you wanted Bailey there. Do you think she flew out? Do you think they flew out everyone?
Maybe I saw like a whole bunch of like the little vignettes that they did. They were touring Australia. They were visiting the community. They were visiting like the local wildlife and stuff. So I think a lot of superstars were there.
Yeah. Undertaker was there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I
true.
think a lot.
Taker was there. He had his yes, I saw
Mhm.
because he had his show. He did his live show, and Triple H came out.
MJF was there. Nah.
Stop.
Just kidding.
Stop.
My sources said he was there.
Who are your sources? I need to know your sources. Who are your sources? You know that if that ever happens, I'm stopping to watch wrestling. If MJF
know.
ever joins WWE, I am stopping to watch wrestling, and it's
They need
over.
they need to have that CM Punk MJF feud again. Come on.
That was
That was a good feud in AEW. Come on, that wasn't a good feud.
it lasted like 6 to 8 months. That was a long feud.
It was good. It was good. It was good.
It was the
That
longest
was good
Punk
work.
has ever been without being hurt. So
Yeah.
Next match, women's elimination chamber match. We had Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Raquel Rodriguez. With
Mhm.
my favorite in that match, Becky Lynch coming out on top.
Okay.
okay, so take it away, Steven. What'd you think?
Yeah.
First of all, I was dead tired, so I needed to go rewatch the match. It was enjoyable.
Mhm.
Is it something I want to see?
It's okay.
No.
It's okay to like women, man. Stop it. It's okay to like women wrestling. Like we gotta stop being all macho. Oh, men is a. It's okay to say that women are really entertaining in the wrestling world right now. Like the women really are the draws right
and
now. Like
absolutely,
I'm looking forward to seeing the women more than I am the men right. And there's no knock at the men, but I'm really enjoying the women's storylines. The women wrestlers are good now.
But it depends who's in the matches.
Back in the day.
It depends
Okay,
who's in the matches. Like these are women that I like to see wrestle.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Like
Absolutely.
if you watch the Raw and the SmackDown to see who would be eligible to be part of this match.
I didn't like really the Ronda Rousey run in wrestling.
See, I like that.
I felt like I kind of liked it, but I feel like because she lost in UFC, then she ran the wrestling. Like, all right.
But it makes. I like when the women know how to wrestle. There's a flow to the match.
Oh, like, yes, absolutely. Me too.
And that's why when I watch the matches, I have a lot more to say about it because I find sometimes there's no flow. So for me to get into it, there needs to be the good women wrestlers, the good athletes, the good women athletes. Like Becky Lynch is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, like like Jade, when they finally put her on in a match, when she's going on one-on-one, I liked watching Jade on AEW.
But out of these 6 women, who did you feel wasn't a good wrestler? I feel like all of them are pretty solid wrestlers that was in this match.
Oof. I
Tiffany
like
Stratton is good in the ring.
yes.
Bianca
No,
Belair is a beast.
yeah, but
Liv Morgan can wrestle. She takes
no,
bumps.
Naomi is all right.
Naomi, that's probably the only one you can say. It's probably Naomi. The
What I
other
like about
five, and maybe Raquel Rodriguez,
I
maybe
like
because I'm not
I
really too
like her.
familiar with her game.
I like her because she has a bigger posture. She could throw
Yes,
people around.
right.
Like
It's just something about I don't know. She just doesn't do it for me. But
She's
besides
just not
that,
believable as she has the
right,
size of the
it's
powerhouse, but she
something.
has the sweet baby face. She doesn't look like she wants to hurt anyone. She doesn't look like
Right,
Nia Jax. Nia Jax literally looks like she takes
right.
pleasure in hurting people. That's what we need from
Hmm.
Raquel Rodriguez is just be ruthless, be physical, be dominant. She was
See,
the
he hit
bigger
it on the
one.
head.
She needed to take that position and she didn't take it in the match.
you
That was my
see,
only
He hit it
downfall.
on.
you
He hit
see,
it on the head.
when we get into
But
the main event, then I'll say my thoughts and why I enjoyed something like that.
but see, so you could probably just say Naomi. But other than that, all of those women that we named are pretty much good draws and matches, and they're pretty much good workers in the ring. Like the stuff Becky Lynch was doing in there, phenomenal. Tiffany Stratton, the swanton off the top of the pod. Are you
But that's
fucking kidding me?
but that's great.
Amazing.
That's what
It's
gets
great
gets me
stuff.
attracted to a certain match like this. Just look at that Survivor Series War Games match. That was phenomenal. That
Right?
flowed.
Liv Morgan, the shortest one in there, just running around like a little, pit bull. Like I love it. I just love everything about it. Like they're doing great work with these women and their characters and how they're developing them nowadays. It's just really good.
So you're excited for Becky Lynch? You guys are excited for Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley?
I mean, we've seen it before, so
Yeah, but
you
it's
know,
on another level right now, no?
it's on another level right now.
It's
Yeah,
on
I knew she
another
was going to
level.
win, and I knew because the last couple of years, if you look at the poster, the third person has been won the Elimination Chamber. So I just kind of looked at it like that. I'm like, who's number 3 on this poster? Maybe that'll be the same thing this year, and it came out this year the same way. So I knew Becky was going to win, and I knew Drew was going to win the men's one because he was number 3 on the poster. It makes sense.
Uh,
Interesting.
next match, Judgment Day. I like Judgment Day, but god damn it,
I
Judgment
like
Day
Judgment
versus
Day.
Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne for the undisputed
I hated.
WWE Tag Team Championship. Derek, take this one off because I was zero interest.
Yeah,
Oh,
me
you're giving
too.
me the tougher one. That's fantastic.
That's why I gave it to you.
You know how much I love what they're doing with Damian Priest in the Judgment Day. Listen,
Mhm.
it for me it was the lowest point of the pay-per-view for me. I even enjoyed the Grayson Waller effect better than that. And that's I have nothing against those competitors. I have nothing against the athletes. It just felt like it was
Absolutely.
rushed. It felt botched. It just there was no to it. And I'm a guy that we come from the same world of factions, wrestling factions. Wrestling factions
Mhm.
are not made to just sort of be booked willy-nilly. They're made to be dominant forces. They're made to attract attentions, to be like powerhouses. And Judgment Day is supposed to be that, but they're not doing that. They're sort of like just putting him in these little matches to just be filler. And I feel like that's disappointing. That's not a way a Money in the Bank winner should carry themselves. It's not the way a former world champion like Finn Balor should carry himself at all.
Mhm.
The only highlight of the Judgment Day is how much people love to boo our
Dominic
favorite heel,
Mysterio.
and that's Dom Mysterio. 52,000 people booing. That was probably the highlight. For me, of that match, that was it. Nothing against the wrestlers. It's just that was the high point. After that, it
That's
just fell
always my
flat.
favorite thing.
There you go.
That's my favorite part. Or every time when he tries to talk and everybody just boos him, like I just love it. It's my favorite thing ever.
Yeah, I like it too.
So they retained.
Yeah.
We can get to the next match. They got to do something with Finn. By the way, Finn hasn't signed this contract yet.
No.
It comes up, I think, after WrestleMania or
Oh, he's
before.
on AEW. Uh-oh.
That would be insane.
WWE superstars are negotiating their contracts like
Yeah.
NFL players. They're waiting until their
Mhm.
contract's up. Don't pick up my option. Let me show you what I got, and then sign me to the big
Mhm.
bucks, or I go somewhere else. It's
Mhm.
literally what it is. It's a battle of free agency at this point. Who's got the bigger
Yeah.
paycheck and who wants to do more? And that's where they're going to go. Simple as that.
Yep.
We're gonna skip the Grayson Waller effect. I want to keep that to the end.
Oh, okay.
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 I want to keep that
Because
to the end.
you want to shit on it, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
why.
right.
Because you want to take a big Canadian shit on it, don't you?
I love
I know you do.
I love how
know
I
you
get you
do.
on this episode and you've just been blasting me ever since I got you on this episode. I'm keeping you
Because I
strictly
know
to the
that's what you
music
want
one.
to do. Listen, I understand though, because I feel the same way. There was no purpose of it at all. I was like, why is it that could have been a match there? It could have been a Gunther match against. You could have showcased Braun Breaker there. Anybody could have took that spot,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
they
But we'll get
they
into it.
wasted it. Yeah, we'll get into it.
Next match is the men's elimination chamber match where your favorite Drew
Mhm.
McIntyre, the Viper Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley,
Mhm.
LA
Mhm.
Knight, KO
Yeah.
Kevin Owens, and the terrible worst US champion of all
Ooh.
time, Logan.
Hold on. Don't do that. You might not like his coming up, but Logan Paul is a solid wrestler. Dude, he's an athlete.
He's
Dude
fantastic in the ring. He's
he's
fantastic. He's just
fantastic.
terrible.
And he's fantastic on the mic
No,
too.
he's
He's a
terrible.
great.
I need to get him the fuck out of here.
No, his
Take away the
character,
championship belt
no.
from him. He's a terrible
All right,
champion. He's doing
all
nothing
right.
with
He
the
might
belt.
be a terrible champion, but he's a good wrestler. You cannot deny.
No,
You
he's great in
cannot
the ring.
deny
Derek, why are
that.
you shaking your head for? You like Logan
Shake your
Paul?
head. You love to shit on people so hard. It's
I know,
unbelievable.
right?
Logan Paul in
Logan
the
Paul
ring,
is
he
great.
took the biggest bumps. He was
Yeah.
getting destroyed by everyone. He
Yeah.
showed the most wear and tear. He was by
Mhm.
far, in terms of personality and charisma around the ring, the most entertaining one there.
Him and LA Knight,
Yeah, right.
the most
But they're the
entertaining.
two flashiest ones. That makes sense.
Yep.
You just love to
Right.
shit on him.
I like that feud. They need to have that feud. LA Knight and Logan Paul. That would be a good feud.
What did I say?
Because
Maybe
Having
about
20,000 saying LA Knight. Yeah.
what did I say when me and Derek said what we would like to see from certain wrestlers? I said LA Knight versus Logan Paul. LA Knight gets the US champion. I said that.
Mhm.
No? Wouldn't that make sense?
Mhm.
yes, after Elimination
Yeah.
Chamber, I'm not too sure that's where they're gonna go.
But they should.
With that being said, it would
They
make
need to put a
sense.
belt on LA Knight because he has he has that mega star right now, and I feel like they're letting it dwindle. They need to put some kind of champion on him. Like they keep trying to put the big one on him. Make him go baby steps. Put the US champion on him first. Let him have that for a little bit, test it out, see how he is as that champion. Then maybe go a step up, maybe get an intercontinental champion. Like do it like that. Don't try to rush him and be like, oh, he's the main event. I mean, he does draw people and he's really popular, but they need to just work it right. I feel like put a belt on him and see how it goes.
Yeah, Stephen and
And
I
that
had
would
that
be the
exact
first
conversation. We
Yeah.
had that exact conversation on one of the videos a few months ago.
Mhm.
That's exactly what we said. Drop him back
Yeah.
down a little bit, let him get his steam going. And the best way to do that is to give him that US championship. Now, are they
Yeah.
gonna do that? We'll see, maybe in a
Yeah.
few months, but I
Hope
agree
so.
with you. I think that's what we need to do.
They
So
need
the
to do
match
that.
thoughts on the match. Look, I enjoyed the match. I think
Mhm.
it was a good match. I loved that the LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton,
Mhm.
Kevin Owens.
Mhm.
I really liked Kevin Owens in this match. Like he was a
Mhm.
beast in this match.
Yeah, he
Just
was a beast.
just the whole match. Like these dudes were beating the shit out of each other. Like, did you see the sweat? Pause. Did you see?
Mhm.
Like these dudes were out.
Yeah.
Did
And
you
they
see
use
the
the
acting
cage quite a
Randy
bit,
Orton
too.
was putting on?
Sorry.
The acting Randy Orton was doing?
Oh,
He was selling that so well.
he's
And Michael Cole, Randy Orton's really hurt. Oh my God, he's hurt his back.
he, he
The way they were overselling it, I was like, I love it. I love it. I love it, man.
he is fantastic. Randy Orton is just
Yeah.
all around fantastic in the ring, on the mic.
Mhm.
When he takes like bumps, the spots, he's just it's crazy because he's
Dude, he's
grown
been doing
so
this for
much.
like 20 years, dude. Since 2002.
It's
We're in
crazy.
2024.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, right? And for him to still be performing at a high level, still look, how he looks physique wise, amazing.
So
Yeah. He's doing a good job. I think the men did a really
Yeah.
good job, maybe a little bit more than the women in terms of using the structure itself and using the
Right.
pods and using the cage and all that kind of jazz to really
Oh,
sell
yes.
that physicality. I think
Mhm.
I think that had more gravitas to it. It had more impact to it watching the men's match. It was slower, but it was more hard hitting. And I think a lot of them like showed that wear and tear. Like you said, Randy Orton sold very well. I think
Mhm.
Logan Paul's body took a lot of
Oh
damage, a
yeah.
lot of abuse, and that was good. Like you said,
Mhm.
all those guys in there, they're hard hitters. They're not little. They're not little. Bobby Lashley's a
Bobby
monster.
I
Lashley
forgot about
Hits you.
monster.
He
Bobby.
hits you. He hits you.
I know, right?
Yeah, he's a big guy and he wasn't afraid to show it, just spearing everyone through the pods. I think that was super cool too. And now I know what I thought about the finish. I know what Trap thought about the finish because it's Drew McIntyre. Now, Steven,
Yes.
how do you feel about that finish? How do you feel about McIntyre? I know we spoke off camera about McIntyre winning and he's the one that was going to go, but now that it actually happened, how do you feel about it?
I knew it was gonna happen. There was 5 guys from SmackDown and 1 guy from Raw. We knew that it was gonna be Drew McIntyre. I think it's with the buildup of Drew McIntyre now, it only makes sense for him to fight Seth Rollins. There's nobody else unless it was Cody. There's nobody else. I don't want to see Bobby Lashley against him. It wouldn't make sense. I don't want to see LA Knight against him. There's no feud there. I
No
wouldn't
feud
want to
there.
see Logan Paul. They fought numerous times. Who's the other guy in there? KO. KO's on SmackDown. Like he's fairly new to SmackDown. There's another storyline for him, and it's a Logan Paul storyline. Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins, that could have been good, but he just signed. He just picked SmackDown. It wouldn't make sense. And they just built the feud in there with um, Logan Paul. Because Logan Paul hit Randy Orton because he eliminated him with the brass knuckles, which made Drew McIntyre pin him and win the match. I think it makes sense for Drew McIntyre to either headline one of the nights. It might be that, it might not be that. We don't know. And face Seth Rollins and have a fantastic match because I think those guys can have a wonderful match. I think it can be an amazing match because the last 2 times they were in the ring together, it was great. The last time Drew McIntyre was in the ring with Cody Rhodes, it was great. So, you know what? The buildup makes sense. They could have a really, really good match. The only thing I'm worried about is are people going to care enough for Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins? And I'm not 100% sold that people are going to care about that match because that match has already happened twice.
Do you feel then that people are going to care because the writing's on the wall that this is McIntyre's chance to win it all and at WrestleMania in front of a live crowd to do and to finally come to fruition everything that he's been saying for the past few months, that he's willing to do anything to win and that it's owed to him? Do you feel like that in and of itself is going to have enough to make people interested?
I don't think he's going to win. I don't think he's going to win. I really don't think he's going to win. I'm not sure, man. Like that's the only thing I'm not sold on. And him being a champion, Seth Rollins is just gonna have to either go away for 6 to 8 months or a year for his back. But what feuds are you gonna build around Drew McIntyre? It ain't gonna be Damian Priest. Okay, it ain't gonna be Damian Priest.
You're
because
right.
it ain't gonna be Psycho Sid versus Diesel type style. Okay. So I'm not sure. What can you build around Drew McIntyre being a champion and not have anybody there to have feuds with him and hold him up? Who is he gonna fight? Who is he gonna fight? Strip the title. Make Gunther lose and make Gunther go against Drew McIntyre. That could be a really heavy feud. That could be good. Because both in the ring could be something good. But what else?
I want to see Braun Breaker versus Gunther. That's what I really want to see. I want to see them build Braun Breaker up a little bit and have him where he's like the only guy that they think could dethrone Gunther, but like Gunther beats him to show him like, oh, you still can't beat me, but Braun Breaker is still showing like, look, I'm a beast too, and then eventually they clash and he wins the title. Like I could see that being a good feud. But the men's elimination chamber, you left out one of the highlights that I liked a lot. AJ Styles attacking LA Knight. I love that. I love that aspect. Him coming in the ring when the other person got eliminated, so the door's open and he just sneaks in out of nowhere and just attacks LA Knight and calls him. Like I kind of like that feud that they're trying to go with a little bit
Do you know why?
for LA Knight.
You know why they're doing
Huh?
that? You know why they're doing that feud? It's
Tell me
because
why.
they need to fill up 2 nights. Two
Okay. Which
one
is which is
like
fine. I'm not mad at it. I
no,
think it's a pretty decent feud. It
it
could
could be
spark
good.
something new for AJ Styles, and it could spark, keep the momentum going for LA Knight. Because AJ Styles has already shown he's a proven superstar. This could be something fresh for him. And this, like I said, this could, be something good to have LA Knight stay, relevant and not get lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, it could probably eventually, like you guys said, lead to him winning the US title. Because LA Knight needs to win the title because they're just going to waste his momentum just to see how he is as a champion, just to see. Start with that,
Make
you
him
know?
it could have been a really big match having LA Knight Logan Paul US Championship on the line. Could have
Right.
been a
That could have
really
been, they could have put that there instead of the fucking Grayson Waller effect. That could have been the match that they could have put there,
We
you
might
know?
end up seeing a triple threat match at that point. We might end up seeing Randy Orton versus Logan Paul
See?
versus Kevin Owens for that US championship at WrestleMania. With what
Mm.
happened with Logan Paul hitting Randy Orton with the brass knuckles,
Oh,
that
with
might
the
be
with the
something
brass
super
knuckles.
interesting. So that
Oh,
could be something interesting. That's a big match. Those three guys in the
mhm.
US championship match. Now all of a sudden you
Yeah,
make that US championship be very valuable and very
right.
entertaining when you put those three guys in there. So who
That's
knows?
true. That's
uh,
true.
so we have Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, WrestleMania, one of the main events. Let's see where that storyline goes. It's going to be an interesting month and a half, 2 months. Is it 2 months? It's a month and a half.
Yeah.
A month and a half.
Mhm.
What they could build, I think it could be something good. Main event: Rhea Ripley
Like it a lot.
versus Nia Jax, and I'm gonna say it to you like this:
I love
Rhea
Rhea Ripley,
Ripley,
man.
Rhea
Love her.
Ripley is probably, if not top three female wrestlers WWE has ever had.
Mm.
Okay, she
Yeah,
she
I'm not mad at that.
she could
Because who do they have in the past? Sable,
she can have a
the
match.
female Ultimate Warrior.
She can have a
Who?
match. Rhea Ripley. Rhea
Oh, I thought you
Ripley
were
can
about to
have
say
a match
Sable.
with
I was like,
anybody.
I thought you were saying
She
about
is
Sable.
she is phenomenal in the ring. She is phenomenal on the mic.
Absolutely.
The way
Mm-hmm.
that the crowd reacts to her, whether it's babyface style or heel
Mm-hmm.
style, she
Mm-hmm.
is all around
She has
fantastic.
it.
She carried a match. She can carry matches with anyone. Like, look what you did
Mm-hmm.
with Nia Jax. Yes, she was in
Mm-hmm.
Australia. Yes, it was her hometown, but she's an athlete. She's a
Yeah.
real athlete in the ring. She could do 10, 15 more years of this, and the crowd loves her. She's a heel, but the crowd loves her.
Mm-hmm.
She is so smart. It's brilliant what she is doing. There has never really been a female wrestler like this. Yes, we had the Becky Lynch. Yes, we had the Charlotte Flair, but Rhea Ripley's on a different level.
And I'm gonna grab that layup and I'm gonna say that right now. All wrestling combined, she's top 5 wrestling superstars currently wrestling right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking all promotions involved. She is.
Yeah.
Remember what Becky Lynch was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, when she was the man Becky Lynch after Nia Jax broke her nose and all that kind of jazz? How she was the top dog in WWE. Right now,
Yeah.
she's the champion that's fighting. She's the champion that's whooping ass. She is WWE's biggest draw right now, maybe other than Roman Reigns and The Rock. And that she's the biggest draw right now, and she is running with it at a speed that we just haven't seen. And for me, it's really hard to see Becky Lynch winning at WrestleMania with the way that Rhea Ripley is wrestling. There's no chance.
Right.
In my opinion, there's no chance.
Not happening. Not happening. Not
No, I
happening.
agree. I agree.
Trap, thoughts on the match itself?
I actually liked the match. I enjoyed it a lot. I like the way Rhea was definitely letting Nia definitely putting Nia over as she should, making it look really good. Like the cohesiveness and the way they balance off each other was so good that I thought it was made for an amazing match, especially the build up to it. Like sometimes the build up can be more exciting than the actual match in some cases, but the build up was exactly what it needed to be, and the match exceeded the build up. They delivered a great match. I thought they worked really they worked well off each other and
Mhm.
everything. So wonderful. It was wonderful to see. And like you said, Rhea Ripley, man, like just amazing as a
Flow.
champion. Yeah, she's been a champion on all levels of her pro wrestling career, like this amazing athlete. Um and to be able to win and keep the title in front of her home crowd, I thought that was amazing itself. Because you don't really get to do that in front of your family and stuff like that. So I just thought it was good. She definitely put on the show. She took some huge bumps. That Samoan drop through the table and everything like that. I was just like, wow, like Nia Jax is no small girl, and like, whoa. So it was definitely good. I thought it was a good match.
Uh,
Definitely.
I'm happy that it was the main event. To be honest,
Me too.
it's good to see a hometown person like herself get that recognition.
Right.
Yeah, and it's also good to see a women's match highlight a pay-per-view in that
Mm-hmm.
capacity, in that way. And I mean, we I was never a big fan of Nia Jax, like in the ring, just because
Yeah.
of I think she's fairly limited in what she does. However, I will
Mm-hmm.
say for someone for her to get fired by WWE, come back and headline a pay per view with the women's for the women's championship match. I think I have to raise my hat to her. She did a really good job. She looked
Yeah.
impressive. She looked big. She looked physical. She looked like she was really laying a whooping on Rhea Ripley. And I think Rhea Ripley, like Trav said, she sold it so well. That table was supposed to break on that Samoan drop, and
Mm.
it did not break. So she was just
Right.
like, "Let me stand on a chair. Let me break the fucking table."
Right.
But that
I'm
was
with the
that
city with
was
it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. She just went with it. So listen, I'm glad you guys both liked it, because I think that was probably the highlight of the entire pay per view was those 52,000 people just cheering for Rhea Ripley. I got shivers.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching
Yeah.
that entrance, and that pop was absolutely
It's
insane. She was a bit nervous in the beginning of
insane.
the match, but she ran with it. So
Crazy song
fantastic.
too. Crazy song.
Yeah,
Do you know who sings that?
I had to check it actually.
Yeah, find out for me, please. It's
I
a really
will.
good song.
I will.
So we're gonna end off the episode with the phenomenal Grayson Waller effect that took place, and I get why they did it. He's from Australia as well.
Steven's favorite part of the show.
No?
That was Steven's highlight, the
It's
Grayson
fu-
Waller
it's
effect.
funny because these segments, like you got a guy like Grayson Waller, who to me is as useless as a bag of shit. Okay. And I'm being honest, but you look at the segment he's doing, and he has his own show. Look at the wrestlers that had their own show:
The
Jake the
Miz.
Snake, Shawn Michaels, Edge,
Mhm.
Chris Jericho,
The Miz.
The Miz. I'm forgetting a bunch, but there was so many people that had segments, and then you have this guy that had the Grayson Waller effect, and I understand what they're trying to do with him,
It's
but
just not working.
the wrestlers that he has on them just overpower him too much, that make him sound like a nobody. So it kind of ruins the whole concept of what they're trying to do.
I get
Like,
what you're saying. He's not that star like the guys you just named who had shows, those guys are stars within themselves. So any wrestler they have on is not really going to overpower them or take over the show. And you got somebody like Grayson Waller, and he has Seth Rollins who comes out to a huge pop. Everybody's singing.
how how long was how
Oh,
long was his entrance? I think his entrance was 20 minutes for how many
right, and
how
then
much
and
people
then
were singing.
right, and then Cody Rhodes comes out, another huge pop, and they same thing. What? Like it's like you can't have the guest overpower the star of the show. So like you said, I see what they're trying to do, but you need to have a star to do that. Now, if this was the Cody Rhodes effect or something like that, it'll probably go over. But you got great, like you said, his stars overpower him, and it doesn't work.
So that's my thing with him. Now, getting to the segment, yes, there should have been a match. I understand
that
100% there should have been a
wasn't
match.
shouldn't waste of time.
But you have right now, you have every single fan of yours in the palm of your hand, whether he was born in the 80s, whether he was born in the 90s, in the 2000s, or like my son, 2015. Okay?
Mhm.
You have them all here because of what's going on with The Rock, Cody Rhodes, the
Right.
bloodline, Seth Rollins in the mix there.
Mhm.
You got a bunch of things going on.
It's
And
It's a lot going on.
there's a lot going on, and you just leave it. You leave it to the side. So you have Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes just come to the show, sit down. Yes, Cody Rhodes did challenge The Rock to a match, but
Mhm.
what are you doing? Why
Right.
isn't Cody Rhodes having a match at the Elimination Chamber?
Right.
Seth
I don't
Rollins, we
understand that.
understand he is injured. Why
Mhm.
isn't Roman Reigns at the Elimination Chamber? He
Right.
should have came out. Okay, where's the bloodline at the
Right.
Elimination Chamber? Okay, no, sorry, hold on a second. We're gonna put the Grayson Waller effect, and we're gonna have fucking
Yeah.
Austin Theory douchebag there. Okay,
Yo, Austin Theory fell through so hard. I was looking at last year's Elimination Chamber. Dude was a U.S. champion, and now he's like fucking. He was fighting John Cena last year at Elimination Chamber. And now he's fucking reduced to fucking or what's his name, sidekick, or Jason Waller's sidekick. It's like fuck. It's
It's not,
crazy.
and we know that he could put up a good match. He's a
Right.
good worker.
He's
Why at that
good.
point? Because Grayson Waller is Grayson Waller. Why don't you just end the Grayson Waller effect there? Cody Rhodes
Right.
versus Austin Theory. It fills up 10,
Right.
15
It
minutes.
fills up.
Everyone
Yeah.
likes it. And you make
Yeah.
Austin Theory look good in defeat.
Look,
Maybe even start boosting him
exactly.
to an
Boosting
elevation.
him again.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he held the champion. He held the United States Championship.
Exactly.
And he fought John Cena, which is a decent match. It wasn't that. It wasn't bad.
guys, The Rock, Hollywood Rock, heel Rock is alive in
Versace shirt.
2024. Where is he? He has a big schedule. I get it. Yes, he has a big schedule. He's a huge, huge movie star. Hollywood,
Mhm.
next level. But then don't bring him on if you're not going to have him there. Okay? You're wasting time. You're wasting people's money. There's something that's not clicking right now. It's like, okay, I'll be there on SmackDown every 3 weeks. Cody can come out, or we could just shoot things at each other and it's never going to get resolved. There's no face to face. He slapped him a couple of weeks ago.
But at the same time, I think I do believe that the original plan was Rock versus Reigns at WrestleMania.
Yes.
But then there was so much fan backlash that they had to turn around real quick and do it. Reigns is never there, and The Rock has a busy schedule. So it makes sense for neither of them, if they're to face each other, it makes sense for none of them to show up at Elimination Chamber. They'll just do it at WrestleMania. So it makes sense to not have build up there. But since they changed those plans, I think they were sort of like, shit, now we got to feel something. We got to do something here. Both of them couldn't be there. So like, how do we do it? Well, that's the only way we can fill up that void. I understand that it leaves a void as a fan that we want to see the interaction. We also have to understand that this sort of sudden change has been very recent, and they probably just didn't have time to turn around and do something decent to have him there or something along those lines. So
it's Elimination Chamber, the pay-per-view before WrestleMania. Do you remember back in the day?
Yeah.
Do you remember back in the day the build up to WrestleMania?
Yes.
Do you remember last year the build up to WrestleMania? Do you remember the year before's build up to WrestleMania? The build up to WrestleMania was insane.
Mm-hmm.
You had so much go on to now that you just Cody Rhodes is in a suit instead of in a match. Your two heavyweight champions are not present in a match. Yes, I understand Seth Rollins is injured. Whatever. But Roman Reigns not being there? Yes.
They can have matches and not always defend the title. They used to do that back in the day. Oh, this is a non-title match for the they can still do that. And I don't understand why it's like you said it on the previous episode. There's too many part-time champions. There's too many of them. And then the only time they're gonna either drop a belt is on a pay-per-view. Barely see that on Raw or SmackDown anymore. Champions dropping the belt or even winning the belt. Everything is on pay-per-view. But it's like they should incorporate that more on the Raw now and the SmackDowns. I feel like they used to. Also, I feel like they need to add another women's belt because those two women belt is too many women, too many good female wrestlers for them to not have a women's intercontinental belt. a women's United Champions belt because there's too many good athletes on that roster to just be fighting for those two belts. Or I
Mhm.
mean, three belts, the tag team champions. So it's like they need to add two more belts for the women too.
Derek, you wanted to
That's how I feel.
you're coming up with a point that you wanna make regarding that.
Yeah.
Go
So
for it.
I'll address the adding more belts to the women's after, because I think that's a very good point. But also think,
Mhm.
and I've said this before, there's a wild card in all this, and that wild card has fallen into oblivion, and it's the fact that Damian Priest is still holding that briefcase.
Oh my god.
Why not have Damian Priest show up at the Grayson Waller effect and look at Rollins in the eye and be like, don't think you could forget about me, and don't think
Mm,
you and McIntyre, don't think that I'm not coming after you guys. Why not
right.
start having him be more involved, having that faction be there to back him up in terms of looking
Mhm.
threatening, in terms of making their presence felt, and not just falling to oblivion. Everyone forgets he's there. He shows the briefcase. We're like, oh shit, it's true.
He still
coming
has
to
it.
the
Mhm.
briefcase. Yeah,
Yes.
but that's the thing. Why not have him show up during the Grayson Waller effect and be like, hey, don't make this about The Rock. He's never there. Don't make this about Reigns. He's never there. I'm here.
Mhm.
I
I'm
have a
here.
fucking championship contract right here
Mhm.
that says I could fight. Let's not forget that. That was the perfect time to add legitimacy to that whole entire segment, is by not forgetting about it. So
Yep.
that was my point about that. And Trap,
Mhm.
to just sort of like piggyback off what you said, 100%. There are way too many talented female wrestlers right now for them to just go for those two belts. We know who the
Mhm.
usual suspects are. We know so long as Becky Lynch is healthy, she'll be there. We know so long as
Right.
Bianca Belair is healthy, she'll be top. We know when Jade
Yep.
is ready, she'll be top.
Mhm.
Rhea Ripley is
Right.
untouchable right now. So what
Mhm.
does that leave? All those young wrestlers that are fighting. Asuka is a former champion,
As
and
a former champion. Yeah.
we need to do something. The women need to
Yeah.
have another title, like an aspiring title, or at least
Yeah.
a number one contenders match, like a fatal four-way number one contenders match. Now we're starting to cook with fire a little bit, but they need to
Right.
involve the women significantly more, especially that for the last pay-per-views, personally, and
Mhm.
I think Trap, you feel the same way. The women's matches have
Yeah.
almost outshone
Good.
all of the men's matches,
Yep.
and Rhea Ripley just
Absolutely.
headlined an entire pay-per-view to herself.
Yep.
The women need to be showcased, and they need to be
Mhm.
showcased more. Maybe not to a 50-50, but
Right.
60-40.
But
Now we're
60
starting to cook with
40.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah. Just add another belt or something. Even though I love Io Sky as the women's champion,
Mhm.
she might lose to Bailey. But yeah, like add a female Intercontinental champion, a female United States champion. So that way, they can mix it up a little bit. Because like you said, it's a lot. It really is a lot of talent. Like in the recent years of wrestling, there's really been a lot of good female in ring talent. Like over the years, they just had the looks and they use them for props and stuff. But as far as in ring talent, I never seen this many so well. And
Yeah.
like actually are, and they're all coming, and they're all not the same. They have their own style. They have their own storylines, which I love. So it's a wonderful thing for wrestling right now. It
Yeah.
is.
I agree.
Uh, Trap on 10.
Yes.
Elimination Chamber.
I give it an 8.
Jesus.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I told you I enjoyed it. The only thing that I didn't enjoy was the Grayson Waller effect and that freaking the tag team match. It was I could have done without it. But
8.
yeah, I give it an 8.
Okay.
I'm not like you. I'm not that. Listen, you gotta understand why I give it an 8. The Kabuki Warriors, like I said, pre-show, did a good match. They did what they were supposed to do. The women's elimination chamber, another solid match for the women. Like I said, every one of those females in there put on a good showing. They could all work in the ring. They all took some bumps. To me, the star of it was Tiffany Stratton. Just her whole overall aura, just the way she comes in confident, doesn't back down from anything. But she doesn't look like she can, take bumps, but she takes hella bumps. You already know what Bianca Belair does. So it was great. And then the men's elimination chamber didn't disappoint either. It was so great. Randy Orton sold the back injury so well. The whole AJ Styles coming in, attacking LA Knights. Didn't see that coming at all. I was in my house like, oh shit. Like it was such a great moment, bro. Like I couldn't. And then you ended off with Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax who put on the phenomenal showing. It it was to me a great pay-per-view. Like I said, just take away the Grayson Waller effect. I wasn't mad at it. That's why I give it an 8. Like I was really sitting here like, wow, this is really good.
Wow, I'm shocked.
I don't know why you shocked. Like I said, it was good. I really have no complaints about it. You take away the Grayson Waller effect and put in like a good match in there, I would have gave it a 10.
I can't have the conversation with you. I'm completely shocked. Derek, what's yours, please?
Why? What? I need to know after Derek goes. I need to know what did you like about it? Then, like,
I'll
Oh,
tell you after.
he's gonna tell us, that's for sure.
I know.
I think I need to split the difference here because I sort of have a
Uh-huh.
feeling where Steven's gonna go on this.
Mhm.
And I'm not quite as high as Trap, so I'll go 7 for me. Just because I feel like there could have been, to Steven's point, there could have been more. What they had
Right.
was good. The matches that they had were good matches. I just wish there would have been more. I wish there would have been a US championship. I wish more championships would have been defended. I wish we would have seen more matches on the
Absolutely.
card to showcase wrestlers and start building maybe the after WrestleMania. Start planting some seeds here and there. And like I said, maybe showcase Damian Priest a little bit more, though I'm not a fan of his. He has to be more present to the thing. So yeah, that's why I'm gonna put 7 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I like that assessment. I actually do agree with that assessment. They could have put more matches there. Like I said, they had to fill the spaces up, and they put that bullshit Grayson Waller show there. So I agree with that assessment. Yeah, they should have had more championships there defended. Gunther could have defended the IC title against somebody, but you know,
Yeah.
overall, yeah.
I'm gonna give my rating, and it's a solid 4 on 10.
What?
Terrible booking.
4?
Terrible
Mm.
booking. They could have done so much better
Okay.
with the booking, so much better with the matches. Yes, you're in
Mm.
Australia. Yes, you have no choice to put the people that are from Australia, but come on,
Mhm.
make it more interesting. Do something more. There's so many feuds, there's so many wrestlers, athletes that you guys have, and you're really minimalizing it to this it's filler. The matches were all
AEW got this
filler.
spoiled.
But Steven, you
It
need to
was
add
only
one
2
more
fillers
point.
there.
You need to add
Yes,
one-
yes. Hold on a second. I know what you're getting at. I'm gonna give it a 4.5, maybe a 5, because Sami Zayn wasn't there. Okay. And just to see him not
AEW
be
got
part
you
of these
spoiled,
things,
man.
to me, you get an extra 0.5 or an extra point. Thank you so much for not adding such a terrible person and a terrible
Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins are going to be the new Shield.
No, to remove him, put somebody
That's going to be
else.
the new Shield. Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, and Seth
I
Rollins.
wouldn't mind if they
My
brought you.
sources said though.
No, bring back Eugene and put Eugene part of the Shield would be better than having Sami Zayn.
Eugene and Hornswoggle, let's go.
I would rather have Hornswoggle there than have Sami
Wait a
Zayn.
minute. So you really give it a 4? No, I get it. Only the 2 things were fillers: the Grayson Waller effect and the tag match. Besides those things, if you take that away, overall, I thought the pay-per-view was good.
It was
The
5
matches
matches.
were
We need at
great.
least 6, 7 matches, and I know the matches are
But you
long.
got to understand the
Condense it.
Elimination Chamber matches.
Condense
You want to
it.
condense the Elimination
It
Chamber
doesn't
match?
need to be that long. Not all the matches need to be
All right.
that long.
But it's 6 people.
You could do a lot. You could get shit rolling.
I mean,
You
no,
could
you
get shit
can.
rolling.
I've seen him do it. But it's like, when you put in those type of athletes in it, you got to showcase a little bit. But I agree. If you take away that Grayson Waller effect, you could have had 2 or 3 matches in there. But that's what I'm saying. If you take away that, overall, it was a good elimination chamber to me. I just didn't. I just could have did without the Grayson Waller effect.
4.5 Trap. I'm not changing answer.
Austin
Maybe a
Theory.
5.
It's
Sami
just fun
Zayn.
seeing what Austin Theory result like what he's become now. Just from
Terrible.
last year, like look what Austin Theory is, and he can work in the ring, and it's like, but that goes to show you the talent and the WWE, not just in the WWE, in the wrestling world, is a lot right now. There's a lot of good workers in the ring, and
They
you
don't
have
know
to
what
be
to
able
do.
to bring it,
And they're
and
not.
you have to know what to do. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm excited though. This is the most excited I've been in like a long time for wrestling. It's really good. It's really, really good. And like it's a good balance between women, men, good matches. You have good champions. You even have good mid card players that you can see maybe become superstars one day. Then you have superstars. You have possibly one of the most over the top superstars in Cody Rhodes that I have ever seen, especially with the whole Rock thing. Like Cody Rhodes is just so over right now. Like he like dude is just is so over. Like you can't go against him. Like they really changed that whole storyline because of him. Like this wasn't really what it's supposed to be. The Rock was supposed to face Roman Reigns.
I'm on the
The
Cody
crowd,
Rhodes bandwagon. Well, not a
I
bandwagon,
know,
but I'm on it.
but yeah, no, you're a fan, yeah. But it's like, dude, and this is also, I think, one of the first times in a very long time, and I think because of new management that they actually listened to the fans who were voicing this distaste, like of The Rock. So they had to change that storyline very quickly, and I'm glad that they agreed because in the past, sometimes they would just go against it and they would ruin the whole shit.
Hmm.
So I think the fans being vocal, like, no, we don't want to see this. Rocky sucks. But then look what we got for. We got fucking Heel Rock, which is one of the greatest characters
All
ever.
time.
Like, Heel Rock is so great. Like, I love Babyface Rock too, but Heel Rock is great. So like, it kind of worked out in everybody's favorite. We get the Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns because to be honest, nobody really wanted to see Roman Reigns versus The Rock, and we all wanted to see Cody finish the story. Like, come
I
on.
wouldn't mind seeing it, but not at WrestleMania.
No, yeah, not at WrestleMania and not right now because the Rock is too. Did you see when he came out and he did that whole routine with Jinder, and then he got up, he was huffing and puffing. Like I
Terrible.
get it, he got all the muscles, he looks great, but
Terrible.
dude, you can't. I don't want to see the Rock do 3 moves and then he's huffing and puffing. Like we got to
And that's
stop
a
that.
and that's a question I actually have for you guys. I was thinking about this as we were
Mhm.
talking. Going over the men's elimination chamber match, a lot of the superstars in that ring are aging. Let's just put it.
Mhm.
Let's just put it that way. Do you feel like the WWE needs to maybe start pushing the younger, more fit wrestlers to eventually take up those mantles? Because listen, LA Knight is not a spring chicken. Randy Orton's not a
Right.
spring chicken. They look
Mhm.
good. They look phenomenal.
Right.
But it's been a few pay-per-views that we've seen the men's match maybe lose a little bit of steam. It's been a slower pace. It's been a little bit more breaks in between. Whereas the women's matches, they're all a little bit younger. They're
Mhm.
going and they're getting after. Do you feel like the men's need to start maybe changing the approach as to who the superstars are and start building more superstars rather than pushing the current superstars to stratospheres?
Um, I think they should because they did that when early like 2000s when The Rock with the Hollywood and Stone Cold and all of them were phasing out, they pushed the Randy Ortons, the Batistas, the Brock Lesnar's, and look at these guys having 20-year careers. John Cena, like so, I feel like they should do that with the younger generation to keep it forward because Randy Orton's been doing it for 20 years. John Cena's gone. Like you said, these guys are not getting any younger, so they need to do that now. Like showcase these younger talents so that people can get used to them instead of having them come and then people are like, well, who is this person? I don't like him. And then you got people like, we want Randy. Like it's like, dude, Randy Orton has been doing it for 25 fucking years already. Like, give him a break already. Like I don't. It's kind of like the older people idols seeing Hulk Hogan fight late into his career. It's like we grew up watching Randy Orton, John Cena. Like you seen that last match with him, horrible. John Cena looked this
Poor
so
guy.
bad, and then he got
Full
the fucking
bald.
bald spot in his head. Yeah,
It's
I
John
didn't want
Cena.
to see I don't want to see my idols going out like that. You know what I mean? It's
Look
like,
at Shawn Michaels. How do you think I feel?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Looks
like,
terrible.
yeah,
Terrible.
they need to push the young guys
I agree.
more and showcase them more.
Depends who.
That's a good assessment, Derek. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point. It depends who. There's some
Who?
guys that are really not there yet, but
Right.
Braun Breaker is young. Push Braun
Oh,
Breaker. Carmelo
okay.
Hayes is young. Push
Yes,
Carmelo
push
Hayes.
him.
Trick
Trick.
Williams,
Yes. Yes.
young. Push him.
Yes. Push him.
Montez Ford is a
Young.
Yes, Montez
superstar in
Ford
the
in
making.
the
He's a
making.
beast.
Yes.
He needs to get pushed.
Shawn Michaels got to
Yeah.
do something. Shawn
Yes.
Michaels has got to get into it because when he works with these guys, and I think he's worked with Montez, if I'm not mistaken, in the past. I'm sure
Yeah.
because Shawn Michaels has a lot of say in those guys and how they move in the ring. You could tell it's a Shawn
Mhm.
Michaels type performance. Am I wrong or am I
Yeah.
right?
No,
So
you're right. That whole Carmelo Hayes, him turning heel with the chair, that was
that's
not Shawn Michaels.
But
then the whole playing of the trick music, like he's coming out, and he's like, "Oh, he's not coming."
what's that?
Totally,
What's that
Shawn
dude's
Michaels.
name that's the NXT
Real.
champion right now?
Dragunov? Ilya
John,
Dragunov?
yeah.
Who do you
think
think
it's-
he worked with? You think he worked with Bret Hart? No, he worked with Shawn Michaels.
Mm.
No,
Listen.
Shawn NXT. These guys came from NXT and they work with Shawn Michaels. So
But you just named some names. These are some guys that they need to be pushing to be the next up and comers. Because CM Punk is always hurt. So
They need to
come
do a
on.
push like they did with Cena. Whenever Cena
Yes.
came out of the ring against Kurt Angle, you're like, who the hell is this guy? And he
Mhm.
ended up giving Kurt Angle a run for his money.
A run
That's
for
what
yep.
they need. They can't bring up a guy
Mhm.
from
I love
NXT and just
that.
have him be buried for 6 months.
Right.
He needs to show
love
up,
that.
have a fight, and be like, I belong here. You're not going to kick me out that easy.
Like
Same
Braun
way John
Breaker.
Cena did.
He
Same
fought
way.
Taker. He fought Taker
think
too.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna do that with Braun Breaker. Well, they should do that with Braun Breaker.
Yeah,
absolutely.
but
He
don't
has
don't forget Carmelo Hayes. I think Carmelo Hayes is
no.
fantastic.
I think Carmelo Hayes is fantastic too. They need to do that too. And like Derek said, Montez Ford. I think he needs to get away from that tag team champ. I don't know if the tag team is holding him back, but
Yeah, of course,
Montez Ford
absolutely.
does have a lot.
Yeah.
He has a lot to showcase, man.
All right, boys. I appreciate you guys being on. This was nice. This was fun.
This was fun.
We're gonna let's do some WrestleMania. Next is WrestleMania. Next is big. It's 2 nights. You know what I might do? I might have a main
Mhm.
event with Trap, and then I might have a main
Mhm.
event with Derek. It might be.
Ooh,
I'm
that's what
smart.
you
That's
might
why
do.
I should
Night
be
one
writing.
and more night two.
They should fire Sami Zayn, and they should make me be the writer. Okay, they should be me. I should
I
be.
told you.
I should be
they
part of
had
the
job.
roster.
I sent you the qualification and job to be a writer. I sent you you should have applied, man.
They should be coming to
But then you
find
would
me,
have to
not
move
the
the
opposite. They should be
yeah.
coming to find me, listen to this podcast, and coming to find
Mhm.
me.
Yeah,
Boys,
that
I
makes sense. 'Cause then
appreciate
you
you.
would have to move to Connecticut. Ugh.
Yeah.
I appreciate you both for being on. Thank you so much.
No
We'll
disrespect to our Connecticut listeners. Sorry.
let's see what happens on
We
Raw and
love
SmackDown.
you. And
I am your
Raw.
host.
Oh, we got Raw tomorrow. We have Raw
Yes, we got Raw.
after
We got a bunch of
Elimination
shit going
Chamber.
on.
Yeah.
We got
Uh, so I am your host, the Ayatollah Hip Hop, the whole damn show,
Mhm.
the Radar Podcaster, and one half of the Tag
Yep.
Team Champions del Mundo, with my co-hosts.
Mhm.
That's right. You're talking to the Canadian Destroyer. Not just good, not just the best, but the greatest there is, the greatest there was, and the greatest there ever will be. Thanks for listening in, folks.
And of course, the other half of the Hip Hop Podcast Tag Team Champions of the World, Trap. You already know what it is. The Black Eric Bischoff, me impacting the culture. Thanks again for listening. I hope you enjoyed this audio adventure. And we'll see you next time. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
Guns up.
Good night.